Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Ali Hazelwood, the latest romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
Hi, it's Sarah Gibson Tuttle, the founder of Olive and June. Can I tell you the one thing that always makes my day better? A fresh manicure. But here's the thing, who has the time or budget to go to the nail salon every week? That's why we created the Olive and June Gel Mani System. It gives you that same glossy, long-lasting mani you get at a salon for so much less. It comes with everything you need, a pro-level LED lamp, salon-grade tools, our damage-free gel polish that lasts up to 21 days. Just prep, paint, cure, and you're good to go. And the best part, it's so easy and super affordable. So skip that $80 salon appointment. Get that salon quality look at home on your schedule. Head to oliveandjune.com/ManiMagic20 and use code ManiMagic20 for 20% off your first gel system. That's oliveandjune.com/ManiMagic20, code ManiMagic20 for 20% off your first gel mani system.
Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I've read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is expert guest for Homeowner-Focused podcast founder and CEO of Home Painters Toronto. No other than Mr. Brian Young.
Thanks for having me.
welcome, Mr. Brian, on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Sure. I've been running my residential painting business for about 37 years now. I started as a student painter back in 1987 as a university student. That's when I got started in it. And obviously there's been some ups and downs since then. But around 2012 was when I kind of started to figure out in terms of my marketing, got everything in line. And since then, I haven't really looked back. It's just a matter of keeping consistent and never taking my eye off the ball. I think that's the key, and being consistent as heck.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Brian. And today, let's talk about the fastest way to add 10K plus to your home's value with a paintbrush. So tell us, let's start with a big claim. How is it possible that something as simple as a paint can add 10K or more to a home perceived value?
Well, for me, you mean in terms of actual value of the house, your specific house?
Yes, please.
I would say the first impression obviously is the most important, especially if you're selling. I deal with a lot of real estate agents. So in terms of bang for your buck, I find obviously when you're first entering the house, the walls is probably the most obvious, and sometimes the baseboards as well, but mainly the walls. And if you lighten up, make it look more open, fresh, inviting, I think that's a huge step in the right direction towards making it very presentable. Obviously, it's your curb appeal helps as well. So having a nice landscaping and front door, most important. A lot of people say, well, I want to fix this and this and this in the house. Well, the most important thing is your front door, because that's what they see going in. And then, of course, your first impression, which is, like I said, your hallway, main floor, that's crucial.
When we talk about value, are primarily talking about actual appraised value or the offer price from emotionally buying customer?
I think appraised value is more to do with the location, which you can't really control very much. But then there's other things you can do to help things like your kitchen and your bathrooms are the two most obvious ones, where I think you can get the biggest return on investment in terms of if you were to upgrade it. But again, first impressions everything. So painting, maybe I'm biased, but they say first impression is everything. So if you refresh, make it light, make it open and inviting is very powerful. Perceived value, maybe not the person to ask about that. I think that's more of a real estate question, but I think it can be looked at in several different ways, perceived value. But I think we don't have very much control over our location. So I think that's the most obvious answer is your location. So yeah, that's the short answer to that.
Mr. Brian, what is the single biggest mistake homeowners make with the paint that actually decreases their home's value in the eyes of buyers?
They most obviously they don't pick the right color. For example, the insides. A lot of times, customers will say they're selling their home, and then they pick a color that's a little like more to their liking. And I always, if they're selling, I always say, well, I mean, if that's your color, that's great. There's no right or wrong. But for the average seller, they might not like that. They may look make it look smaller and less inviting. So I always warn them that it's always try to look at it through the buyer's eyes, not through their eyes. So neutralize, keep it simple. Lighter is better, more open. Um, Walls is the biggest bang for your dollar. I would say in terms of biggest mistakes, other things is little simple things like um, fixing the little things like door locks, little things like that that can kind of drive people crazy in that when they're selling a house. So get someone to do the little things, uh, door handles, just little things like that, the details. And then declutter. I mean, that's an obvious one. The less in your house, the better. You obviously want your main furniture, and that's what stagers are for. But try to declutter. Less is more again, and it's good to have your basic furniture, but anything more than that, I think, is just causing detracting from the value of your home.
Beyond just color, what are the less obvious painting principles like sheen, finish, or technique that signal quality and add to that 10K figure?
So most obvious is the ceilings. If you are to paint the ceilings, by the way, they're not the most important thing to paint, but if you are, paint it with a white flat paint. It makes it look open, inviting. It also hides any defects. It camouflages that. So go with a flat paint. Walls, eggshell or matte works. And then for the trim and doors, usually a satin finish. Less sheen is better, especially nowadays. People are going towards a more modern look, less sheen. The other thing that people overlook is their kitchen cabinets. So if they have kind of beat up kitchen cabinets for anywhere from 3 to 6K, you can have your kitchen cabinets revamped. And like I said, kitchen cabinets and bathrooms are the two biggest return on investments if you're to renovate or put money into, besides the painting, of course.
Color strategy and money makers. Let's get specific. If a homeowner only has time to paint one or two rooms before selling,
Yeah,
which ones offer the biggest return on investment and why?
I think the hallway, definitely the entrance hallway is number one. Sorry, front door, number one. Entrance hallway, like that main foyer area, number two. I think third and fourth would probably be a soft between kitchen and living room, dining room. Yeah, and then bathrooms shortly after that. And depending on the location of where your living room is, maybe the bathroom could go ahead of that. But your main floor, in a nutshell, your main floor, your front door first, main floor second, and then of course bathroom third, depending on where the location of your bathroom is and versus your living room and dining room.
Mr. Brian, according to your experience, what is the best color that you recommend for people out there listening?
Specific color, I would go with depends. If you want to go whites, CC20 decorators white, uh, with a little bit of tint in it, like a little bit of beige modern. White Dove OC17 is probably number two. Third, if you want to go towards a lighter neutral gray tone, OC25 Cloud Cover is a real popular one. So those I'd say were the top three that I would choose for your walls, that is. And then for trim and doors, white. Just go pure white, or even like an off-white is fine. CC20, CC30 for your trim and doors. Ceiling, pure ceiling paint, flat paint. That's what I would use.
Thank you for the tips, Mr. Brian. So, what are the top three can't miss color palettes of 2025 that make home feel modern, spacious, and valuable?
I would still go with those ones that I mentioned, like OC17, CC20. This is for the walls, that is. CC20, OC17, and OC25. If you want a little more depth, uh, Silver Satin, OC26, Classic Gray, OC23, and I think those would be my top threes. If you're going towards a more traditional look, OC6, OC5, Maritime White, as well as Feather Down are very popular ones as well, if that helps you.
The pro secrets and techniques. What is one professional painting technique that looks incredibly expensive but actually quite DIY friendly?
Good one. Brushing and rolling is DIY friendly, is the very most popular and traditional way to do anything. So you can't go wrong with brushing and rolling 90% of the time. The one situation where you might want to be spraying is kitchen cabinets and even bathroom cabinets for that matter. Anything to do with cabinets, spraying is always the way to go. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a DIY just because it does require a little more expertise. But if you are a good sprayer, definitely your cabinets are the way to go. And the prep's crucial. So you want to make sure they're prepped well. So you want to make sure they're degreased, scuff sanded, feather sanded down, and then of course use the proper primer, a good bond primer, and then letting it sit for 24 hours in between that and the finish coats of spray. So I would say spraying would be the way to go of your kitchen cabinets if you had to do more of a higher end look.
Mr. Brian, as a founder and CEO of Home Painters Toronto, what are your short term and long term goals?
Short term is, I think it's pretty simple. It's a matter of just growing the business, keeping the happiest customers, happiest painters, um, good culture within the company. We're always like all over the customer in terms of making sure they're happy. It's simple. It's very cliche-ish, but I mean, it works. You take care of your customer, they'll take care of you. Take care of your painters. We have over 30 painters on staff. They'll take care of you as well. So good painters, good customers, and always obviously having a good culture and a good strong marketing plan as well.
Looking forward for more success and good luck to your goals,
All right.
Mr. Brian. And tell us, what is your piece of advice for those people out there want to be like you?
Um, Everyone's different. I mean, I think everyone's different. The key for me was, I can only talk for myself, is loving what you do, being passionate about it, being consistent. It's the long game. I've been in business 37 years, so in my experience, there's no quick buck artist, at least in my world. I like doing the long game, being consistent, sticking to the fundamentals. Call me old fashioned, but that's what I like to do, and it's worked for me. So I'm an old school type person that way. Although I do like to work in the new stuff such as AI, CRMs, technology, strong marketing plans. Um, we run it on EOS, our business, so I like to obviously upgrade our technology and everything to the newest stuff to make us the most efficiently run company, trade company out there. But at the same time, it comes down to fundamentals. Like I said before, happy customers, happy painters, um, and then they take care of you. Take care of them, they'll take care of you.
Yes, definitely. And thank you for that advice, Mr. Brian. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
There's a few come to mind, but the most popular one that I kind of live by is Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I love how again, it's kind of an old school way of looking at business. The other one that I also look at is the E-Myth, and in terms of if you're like, for example, if you're trying to build the business out and structure it in a way that allows you to be free, I find the E-Myth is a very strong book. Some other books that I found popular were Multipliers, and Difficult Conversations. Those are the first ones that come to mind. But I'd say if I had to reach out to one, I would say Think and Grow Rich. Again, it's old school, but that's that's what's got me to where I am today.
Think and Grow Rich for sure is highly recommended to read. It's a classic, and interesting book. And thank you for that recommended books, Mr. Brian. And if you had to create a formula for the or for that 10K paint job,
Mm-hmm.
what would it be?
A formula?
A
I would
formula.
I would say start from the outside in, meaning from the door, curb appeal, and then experience what you're in terms of the customer. Try to figure out what they're thinking. Look at it through their eyes, and um, look at it through their eyes, not through your own eyes. Google, ChatGPT, your best friends, and just try not to look at it too like I have to do everything. Keep to the basics, and obviously, if you have more time and money, then knock yourself out. But stick to the basics, keep it simple, and don't overwhelm yourself with too many over details. Keep to the basics, and great things will happen.
And Mr. Brian, what is the most overlooked items to paint, like doors, trim ceilings, or built-ins that have an outsized impact on overall feel and value?
I think, like I said, the most obvious is your front door. Second would be walls. And then third would be your baseboards, just because they tend to get mucked up. Last, and I wouldn't say it's not important, but last would be your ceilings. And the reason why is because unless they're yellowed or smoked or smoke stained or really beat up or water stained, I find that they're the least or ROI in terms of return on investment, because rarely do you go into a house and look up like that. You usually look at the overall, look, and then little things like details like the dirtiness of the baseboards or trim that can be affect you as well. The last thing is the basement, and the only reason why is because rarely will someone go through your 2 floors of your house, love it, and then go to your basement and say, I'm not going to buy the house just because of the basement. It's usually a nice to have. So I would say your front door first, wall second, your baseboards and touching up your trim third. Least would be ceilings and basement.
Interesting, Mr. Brian. And how can a fresh coat of a paint on front doors, shutters, or garage doors dramatically improve curb appeal and a critical first impression?
I think if you're going to do your front doors nowadays, people like making them stand out, which is pretty normal. So front doors, they usually go the same as the frame nowadays. We used to traditionally go frame like white, and then we'll go front doors black and garage doors black. But now they're going um, front door stand out with the frame, and then they'll make the garage door and frame the same color as the rest of the trim. They kind of make it blend in. So that's very popular. You can always go the traditional front door and garage door, same color. Can't go wrong there either. But I'd say if you wanted to modernize, go front door bold, stand out with the frame, and then the garage door and frame, blend that in with the rest of the house, whatever that color that is.
And Mr. Brian, what is your take on painting non-traditional surface like brick fireplaces or vinyl floors? Is
Oh,
that value add or a risk?
huge. Can potentially be. One of the biggest new sellers in the last 5 years has been brick staining. And we brick stain, not too many companies do it, by the way. It's a little more tricky in terms of the prep and making sure you use the right products and setup as well. But brick stain can be one of the biggest, let's say, I didn't expect that. And the reason why, because it lasts 30, 20, 30, 40 years, allows it to breathe and same times protects it from the weather elements as well. And it looks beautiful, absolutely stunning. If you have those bricks that I find in Toronto, there's a lot of pink bricks people are really kind of tired of, and salmon, that's another color that doesn't really go very well anymore. They don't want to spend tens and even up to $50,000 to $100,000 changing the brick color, but they don't want to ruin them either, because paint can actually ruin your bricks because it traps in the moisture and uh, can disintegrate the bricks from the inside out. Brick stain is your answer in terms of longevity, making it beautiful, modern, and up to date. And you have almost any color you can pick for that as well.
What are the common amateur painting mistakes that's, well, scream a cheap DIY job to a potential buyer and kill the value you're trying to add?
Say that again. So the mistake you're saying?
Yes, what are the common amateur painting mistakes?
Common painting mistakes would be trying to touch up like walls and making it look even worse. If you don't get the right color, then it can actually ruin it. Like imagine touching up walls and then seeing a bunch of blotches everywhere. That could be the most obviously. You can touch up trim. I find trim you can get away with that. But walls, often you have to either get the exact color, the original color, and if you don't have the original can of paint, that's really hard to match. You have to usually paint the whole wall in that case. So I would say be careful. If you're touching up walls, you can actually cause more harm than good. Um, the best way would be to, if you are going to touch up, is to get the old can of paint. If you don't have that, then you're kind of in trouble. Trying to get someone to match a color 100% is almost impossible. You're probably going to get 95 to 98% if you're lucky, and even then it'll look blotchy and it won't look so great.
How important is the quality of the paint itself? Is the premium brand always worth or for resale?
When you're reselling, I don't think it's as important. I think out of conscience, my own conscience, I would preferable to use the better paint, the premium paint, just because it's psychologically, and for me, selling it would make me feel better. But if you're selling, it's not quite as crucial as this if you're going to live there for the next 5, 10 years. Washability is not that important, let's face it. But like I said, if you're going to sell your house, invest a good amount of money and time in hiring a painter. Um, and if you do have the budget, I would definitely go the premium brand. You don't necessarily have to go, or if you're benching more, you can go as high as Ben, which is the midline, or for Sherwin-Williams, Duration's a solid line as well. Um, but I would definitely at least go the midline.
Mr. Brian, when it's absolutely necessary to hire a professional and when is it confident DIYer perfectly capable of achieving that 10K plus?
I think depending on your budget, if you do have the budget, it's always better to hire someone if you have the budget. And depending on your home, like the value, if you're in one of those situations where painting it would be a huge boost to the value, then yes. If you don't have the budget, you don't have the budget. in which case you always have to do it yourself, or hire maybe someone that's not so qualified and take a risk. But that's very risky and can cause you problems, and can definitely cause bigger problems than it's worth. So if you have the budget, for sure, hire a professional. And because, obviously, if your house is worth so much and you're trying to get top dollar for it, then you get what you pay for. So same thing with painters as well.
Indeed. And Mr. Brian, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 to be in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my book 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and mental health 101 love letters in third season, and movie 101 review and music 101 in fourth season, and science 101 and sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Brian, finally, what's the one piece of counter, let's say, well known that paint advice you have the most homeowners never think of, but can instantly elevate a space?
Counter, that's a good question. Counter. Can you give me a hint?
Yes, so what is your best advice for those people out there that if you paint this just like your house is bigger or wider or something that more spacious?
I would say, like I said before, go light. And it's actually good to have a little bit of like the latex smell in the house. I know a lot of people say, does it smell? Yeah, a little, but it's not toxic by any means, especially with the low VOC paints. It's okay to have a little bit of smelling. And in fact, I think it would be more positive to have that smell, when that kind of that paint smell in your house when you're selling. It's a nice way to freshen it up and kind of detoxify everything, to have that kind of new smell in. And maybe I'm biased because I'm in the business for 37 years, but I find that having that nice smell of fresh paint is a real positive when you're trying to show it well and get the biggest, highest value for it.
Indeed, Mr. Brian Young. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your business, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Sure, if you're ever interested in the GTA or the Toronto area, please feel free to contact us directly at sales@homepainterstoronto.com. Our website is www.homepainterstoronto.com, and our phone number is 416-494-9095. We'd love to hear from you, and thanks so much for having me.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Brian Young, because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering 10K plus to come. So, Mr. Brian, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it.
More to come, people. See you soon.